began, the real problems began about a week to the election. On the 2nd of August, we were conducting training. And the way that we are not dealing with small boys, the guys who did this thing, they were well prepared for it, and they knew how to do it. So, and they held the whole, plan until the last minute, so that there is no recovery. So it is a fate they are complete. On the 2nd of August, when we were training our agents, I started to see, because we were supposed to book venues, we were supposed to pay for venues. I personally talked to coordinators. We had a very organized system. Our coordinators from all the counties had given us venues, had given us budgets, and I gave them these things about 2 weeks to the training. So these are the venues, these are the budgets. Pay the coordinators. I did not want to handle even a coin in this election, and I didn't, by the way. I didn't even handle one coin, and if anybody thinks I took even the asumuni from them, let them come for it. Because I didn't take. And I told them, pay our coordinators the things for the venues, book the venues in advance, give notices to the agents in advance, and all this kind of thing. Do you know, up to the date of the training, which was 2nd of August, the venues were not paid for. Right? So we had agents who had been notified.
Was there money to pay?
Of course. There was too much money. There was too much money, City. Money was not an issue.
You're telling us this now. Why didn't you tell us before? Anyway, go on.
Anyway, you see all the wrong people.
So 2 days smell the money trading.
Yes.
And the venue has not been paid.
The day of the training. The day of the training. 2nd of August.
And the trainees have been alerted.
They have even gone. They've even gone to these are the agents. They have gone to the agents and the trainers. They have gone to the where they were alerted to go. And the venues are locked because the venues have not been paid for. And I started telling these people, what is it? What is the problem? How do you had these venues 2 weeks prior? Why have you not paid? Oh, did you Safaricom? Oh, did you what? Yeah, a lot of stories, And on that evening of 2nd, I walked into the VIP lounge of the command center, and I wanted to hand in my resignation because I saw there's going to be a mess. And I told these people, I call them the big four in the book. I told them, you guys, I hope you have the power to fire me. If you don't have the power to fire me, I'll make it easy for you. I will resign before morning. I'll hand in my resignation to my principal, because I will not oversee a broken system. And because the blame will come back to me, Oh, Kanchori, don't worry. These things are never perfect. You're an absolutist. We know you're a perfectionist, but these things are never perfect. You take it easy. We're in charge. We are, these things. Usually elections are like this.
So you said, okay, let me not resign.
So I'm like, okay, before that they had even wanted to point some blame, whatever. But when they saw that this guy Kumbe, he does not care about this job. For me, it was not a job. It was an assignment that I wanted to deliver. It was not a job. I was not being paid a coin
for the money.
I closed my law firm for a year to work for Raila Odinga. I mean, my law firm pays me enough to
survive.
But Raila Odinga did not pay me even a coin, and I worked for him for a whole year, from November to August, November of 2021 to August after the elections, and so for me it was not. For them, maybe they were getting something out of it, and it meant
So what I'm sensing you going to say here is that by the time you get into the election day, your agency system was not.
It was beginning to crumble, and because that was the design. Everything. There's a saying, and this is one of William Ruto's favorite sayings. I've talked about him in the book. He says, "Ukiona vyaelea ujue vimeundwa." Everything, is pre-planned. Nothing happens.
I have to ask you this question. There's the underlying assumption here is that William Ruto and these people were behind all of this. Now, what if the people who were supposed to be your colleagues were the ones who were behind it all along for their own reasons? Instead of William Ruto coming to them, because that's the assumption William Ruto said, tupange hii namna hii. What if walipanga namna hii, and then they went to William Ruto and said, this one tumepanga namna hii. Can we have a conversation?
You've said it, City. You've said it. And in fact, that is how I put it in the book.
Oh.
Yes. Kupanga namna hii. It is even in the book.
Oh.
So you've said, have you read it already?
I have not read the book. I have not read anything.
So the truth is the truth.
I just read the book.
The truth is the truth. So it's
kikulacho kilikuwa nguoni. It was not about William Ruto.
Na ilikula ikanona.
Okay. Sava issue. And just I've been corrected by Barack Muluka. Actually, even in Mombasa, like the presidential election happened. It's just a gubernatorial election that did not happen.
Yes, of course.
It happened across the country.
Of course, I say that.
On this same day, right? When we say the server is where the issue is, explain to me how the server is the issue when the results are all physical up to Bomas. When you're waiting in Bomas, you're waiting for the returning officers from the 290 constituencies to come.
So, the servers, the people who are saying, oh, the server is CG, the public portal, CG, the server is, that is just taking Kenyans for fools. Taking Kenyans for fools. The public portal was nothing but what had been IBC wanted us to see. It's like coming to your bed, to your house, a city, and you give us to stay a city. You come to your house, then you let us see what you want us to see. But uko ndani maneno ingine inaendelea. Yeah. So the public portal was a PR exercise for IBC. But let me answer your question, Eric, because you've asked. Hii mambo ya server, what is so hard about opening these servers? If there is nothing there, open it and say, you see, this is what the server is. And the opening of the server is a forensic exercise.
Oh,
it's a forensic exercise.
It's not like a door you pull open.
No. It's a forensic audit. All right? It's a forensic audit which has not been done. Even the Supreme Court, and I've said it in the book, in the chapter 6, titled "A Mockery of Justice." It was a mockery of justice. The Supreme Court did nothing.
Did the commissioners at Bomas of Kenya rely on the server to announce the result?
The commissioners at Bomas of Kenya, first of all, the commissioners is to overstate the point, because there were only 2 commissioners and 1 chairman.
They were still commissioners. So that is the commissioners who announced it.
No, the person who announced the results was one man called Wafula Wanyonyi Chebukati.
Chebukati announced the final results.
Yes.
But throughout the 2 days, the commissioners were announcing, this is what we have received. This is the presidential result from constituency X.
Yes.
So they were announcing the results.
They were announcing the results.
Okay.
Yes.
Were they relying on the server, or were they relying on the returning officer coming to Bomas with the Form 34?
They were relying on the physical form. They were relying on the physical forms, which had been, there were 2 days, which I've called the phony war. If you know your history, the Second World War, there was a period of 8 months. There was no war, and yet the war had been declared. So even in this election, there was a period of 2 days, which I would call akin to the Second World War period of the phony war, where there was nothing. The elections had concluded.
Fired,
nothing. Almost like a lull before the storm. And you need to read about the Bomas choirs also.
How do those physical forms impact the server?
The physical forms are subject to doctoring because they are forms. All right? The physical forms are subject to all manner of manipulation. But you see, the people who were in the polling stations, the presiding officers, they sent this information into the server directly. Then the people in the tallying centers, the 290 tallying centers, the constituency returning officers, filled in a physical form. Yeah. Which form we had a problem with. One of the issues we had raised was actually that form, because we had said this form is not the standard legal form that is supposed to be generated automatically. The way that IBC had done is that you could generate that form even in your house, as a returning officer. So the results that you'll find in the server are the original in the polling station that was sent, by the presiding officers.